What is good, Counter-Strike fans? Welcome to my fifth episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today, we're going to talk about the PGL Cluj-Napoca group stage event. Sorry if I sound a little bit weird. I am a little sick, so I apologize. But make sure to like and subscribe this video for me getting out this video even in these conditions to you all for you to enjoy. But yeah, let's take a look at what happened in my Katowice playoff event. And as you can see, we did really good. We got a top 1%, my first one of the season. So really happy about going with Saiwu. I mean, he was the MVP of the whole event. The way that Vitality took down Spirit was insane. They didn't even give him a chance at any map, and the way they neutralized Donk, they basically took him to half health before he even saw one Vitality player with all the utility damage that they were able to get on him. So Vitality did really well. And if you pick any Vitality players, you definitely did well in this event as well. So really happy at backing Vitality and them finally paying off for me, even though I backed them earlier this year at Blast Bounty and that didn't work out. You can see Vitality players were the best value for money. All 5 of them are up here. Then you have Donk, which is just Donk. He's just always gonna be good value for money, even though his prices keeps going up. He keeps performing. Magic is zero as well. So in general, top 1% is good. 25 points towards the leaderboard has gotten me up to top 100. I'm currently ranked 77. Really happy about that. This is one of my best starts. I believe playing fantasy for the last 3 years, I would say. So really happy about that. But yeah, before we get started at looking at the most big players and taking a look at the players individually, let's talk about this event. So Cluj-Napoca is a Swiss stage, group stage. What that means, if you watch any major event, there's RMRs, and then in the RMRs they have this system as well where you have to get to 3 wins before you get to 3 losses, and you would face teams that have the same amount of wins and losses as you on each round. The way that the teams have been sitting for this event, it was before any matches happened this year. So Eternal Fire are the 8th seed, unfortunately for them, but fortunately for us because they get to face Imperial Female. But yeah, if they were ranked after, as you can see, they were ranked on January 6th, so definitely no matches had happened at that time. So if they were ranked after what we saw to start the year, Eternal Fire should have been definitely top 3 for sure. But it is what it is. So yeah, so the first seed would play the 9th seed, which is Mongolz, plays Complexity. Second seed plays 10th seed, Face Clan versus Saw. Mouse plays Big, and so on and so forth. If the higher seed would win, let's say for example all high seeds win in their matchups, then Mongolz will face the lowest 1-0 team, which would be Eternal Fire. Face Clan will then face the second lowest, which is 3D Max, and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, the highest seed 0-1 team, which would be Complexity, will face the lowest 0-1 team, which would be Imperial, so on and so forth. Basically, what I'm trying to get is that don't worry about who they're gonna face. If this were an RMR major event, then we could see the matchups and use the calculator that I believe someone provided and created. But because it's not a major event, we can't do that. So we would just have to go off the teams that we think are going to do good in general, or that have a quick first matchup, and then hopefully they can build upon that to go 3-0 or 3-1. Yeah. So if we take a look at the matches, Mouse versus BP. I would say Mouse is still the favorite, even though they have Brolin. But I think they have enough firepower to beat BP. So, big, I mean. So I think Mouse should be big, even though with Brolin IGL, it should be fine. 3 Max faces BP. BP are currently the bookies' favorite. They did look good in Katowice, but I still feel they're a little bit inconsistent. I feel like 3 Max is still a good team, so I would say it's more of a 50-50. FaZe should be Saw easily. Falcon should be FlyQuest easily. Mongolz, again, should be Complexity easily. MIBR versus Wildcard. MIBR is favorite. And they should be, but they're super inconsistent as well. Wildcard are the type of team that can be a higher seed team easily, or like had the opportunity to beat the underdog. So there's always a chance with Wildcard, but I would say MIBR will win this. Pain versus Astralis, again, another 50-50. Pain looked really good, and then recently they look poor. Meanwhile, Astralis has been kind of just middling. Sometimes they have really good matches, and then sometimes they have really poor matches. Astralis are the bookie favorite, but against 50-50. Eternal Fire is going to be Imperial pretty easily. Let's say, for example, someone like BP and Astralis were to be 3D Max and Pain. That would leave us with Mongolz having to face BP, I mean, because it'd be the lowest seed that went 1-0. FaZe Clan would face Astralis, Mouse would face Eternal Fire, and so on for the rest of the 1-0 teams. And then for the 0-1s, the highest 0-1 team would be Pain if they lost against Astralis, which then will face Imperial Female. 3D Max will face, I believe, would be Wildcard, and so on and so forth. So there could be a chance that even though you might lose the first matchup, you could get faced against Imperial Female, which would be another farming game. So definitely target Imperial Female for this event as well. So yeah, let's take a look at the most picked players. Major, 40% owned. I think he's a must-have. You even have Centaurus up here as well. Techno, around high 30s, low 40s, I believe. With 910 and Blitz, and then Kerrigan and Legion Rain are up here as well. You can see people are backing Eternal Fire, Mongolz, and FaZe Clan, which makes sense. 3 of the most consistent teams, or 3 of the highest rated teams, and they should get through to the playoffs 100%. So let's take a look at the players individually. Eternal Fire, I think they're gonna be the team that you gotta have 2 of for sure. They're facing Imperial Female the first round. They'll be able to farm that easily. So Major is a must-have at 190. Then you can decide how much money you want to spend here. Centaurus, the most consistent, the highest upside player, but he comes in at 230, so a bit much for me, but I can understand why you go here. But I'm going to build a more balanced team, so I'm not going to go Centaurus right now, but Centaurus is a great choice. Woxic kind of gives you the savings on Centaurus, kind of has the upside as well, but he's super inconsistent, has a lot of downside as well, so 215 is not bad for him as well. I would go here as well if you wanted to. And then with Cadia at 209, probably the most consistent, but also doesn't have upside like Woxic does. So he's just fine. Jota, even though Eternal Fire has been doing good, Jota, his ratings haven't been as good personally, so just skip for him for now. If he was maybe in the high 190s, low 200,000s, then maybe I would think about it. But at 205, don't go there. FaZe Clan should get through, but honestly, the prices I'm not really liking. Kerrigan at 190, I would just skip. He basically averages like 0.8 high point eights, low point nine. So at 190 is not worth it. Rain is okay at 206. If you want to double up, then I would pick Rain. But if you want to go with one player, I think it has to be Frozen or Leech, and I would lean a Leech. Definitely Kerrigan's trying to incorporate him to be their playmaker for this team. And he's shown it in a couple maps, but they definitely, a little bit more time to gel. So Frozen or Leech would be my favorites. Brokey, I would skip on. Inconsistent. But he would be a great differential if you wanted to go there. Mongolz look good. They play good against bad teams, and then they kind of struggle against the better teams. But in this group stage, I think they'll be more than good enough. They have the number 1 seed, so they should be fine. Just to get this out of the way, Sensu 209, although he is known to be the star player of this team, he did break his hand at the end of last year. And he still hasn't fully recovered, so I would just skip on him. His ratings haven't looked good, so just wait for him to heal his hand and regain his form again before you go there. Messinho at 211, again, too expensive. Has the most potential this team because he's so young, but we're looking for points now, not in the future. So Messinho, don't go there at that price. 910. He's been the most consistent for a while now and the highest rated player for a while now for Mongolz. So I really like 910 at 213. If you want to double up, it's between Blitz and Techno. Techno if you want to spend a little bit less money on Mongolz, and Blitz if you want to go more into Mongolz. Blitz has some good roles on both CT and T side, so he has the potential to pop up as well. Mouse would not go here. Those prices are too crazy right now, too high, especially for a team that we haven't really seen fully incorporate, fully merge together. So it'll be their first official match together. Spinks will be interesting to see, but yeah, wouldn't go here. Maybe Brolin at 197 if you want to take a punt there. But honestly, they don't look too too appealing at those prices. Virtus Pro look interesting. Interesting in that they had a good event at Katowice, but before then they would look really poor. So I'm not really sure what we're gonna see from Virtus Pro. If I were to go here, I would go with Flit. I think he's been the most consistent player. I would definitely pay up to 2.8 to get him if you want to back Virtus Pro. I would skip on Electronic because as an IGO, he just doesn't get ratings. And IC as well. 213 is a little bit too much for me. Especially if you can get like 910 at the same price. So just skip on IC. If you want to double up, then Flit and Fame will be my favorite. But then you can take a punt on Flamis, who has better roles. So Virtus Pro, okay team. Could upset. Could be the surprise of the tournament. Take your risk. Astralis. Again, Astralis is another team that should make it through, but they are a little bit risky in that regard. KD at 184 is not bad, especially because a lot of players seem to be boosted up at higher prices. KD is not bad. Javis at 206 not bad either, and Stair not the worst. Would not go Staub. He just hasn't looked the same. He looks out of form. Device is not bad. He's been consistent, but at 220, do you really want to go with a player from Astralis? I wouldn't at that price. So, yeah. Katie and Javi's there. And then probably skip on Stav. And you can maybe go for Device. Falcons, again, should make it through. Really interested in Tesla at 210. He's been their most consistent player for a while now. I mean, even in last year, Heroic, super consistent to end the year, super consistent to start the year as well. He's been their first or second best player in basically every match, basically matching Nico. So Tess is interesting at 210. Kixen and Magis 190, 184. I wouldn't go here. It's not the worst. If I had to pick someone, it'd be Magix, but he's just been super bad. I mean, he's been putting up 1 ratings for a while now. So could this be the event that he finally goes crazy and is the Magix that we know? Maybe. Dexter out 206. It's okay. Nico 225. He could be good. But again, you're paying a lot of money for a team that is super inconsistent. You know, they have that potential to not even make it through the event. So it's an okay choice. Definitely differential though. And Nico, you know, the more games he plays, the better he gets. So he could be an interesting option. Pain again is the hotter cold team. When they look good, they look really good, and when they look bad, they look really poor. Again, we've seen the highs that Davideos brings at 214. It's okay. If you want to back Pain in this event, you definitely need Davideos because he could pop off for them. Other than that, maybe Biggest or Snow would be my favorites just because they're kind of cheap and we're seeing what they could do when a team is firing. And QC and Cow is, I haven't been impressed by them so far this year, so I would skip on them and then go with the 3 that I mentioned previously. 3D Max is my underdog team. Not favored to make it, but I think they should. Body at 183 comes at a really insane price. I mean, he's already had 2 matches with 3D Max, I think, in close qualifiers, and he's been top fragger in both of them. So insane ratings he's been putting up so far this year with 3D Max since joining this lineup recently. And he's been, you know, not having to do IGL for a worse team in Fnatic. So now that he gets to go to a 3D Max, which is a better team, no IGL duties, he could pop off. You could see that body that we saw a couple years ago with DVL Pony. So yeah, really interested in body at that price. Other than that, maybe Maka. Super consistent. Lucky has been their best player, but 2A is a little bit much, but you can go there. Exercise as well. 193 is not the worst. Gravity, just skip on him. Go with body instead. MIBR, again, could they go through? Yes. They also as likely not to go through. Super inconsistent. I don't really like any of the players. Insomnia 218 is interesting, but you have to invest 218 of your money into MIBR. It's not the greatest. Drop then would be my favorite just because he's so cheap. Then safe, and then other than that, I don't know. MIBR is too inconsistent for me. Big I do quite like as well. They look pretty good. JC and Hype have been their best 2 players, but a 208 and 210, they're a little bit much for me. I literally like Crimble 183. Last year and the year prior, he was their best player. So seeing him a little bit out of form has been interesting. But at 193 is super cheap, so if you want to take a punt in a big player, definitely go with Crimble. Wildcard, we already had Stanislaw a couple events ago. He did fine for us. At 175 again, he's decent if you want to go cheap there. Sonic as well, 184 is decent. And then out of the rest, I mean, Java has the highest upside, but he's also super inconsistent. He's still so young. So yeah, Java is interesting. I would go him if you want to invest a little bit more into wildcard. But Sonic and Stanislaw should be good enough. Probably lean more towards Sonic. FlyQuest, Dexter, we've seen what he can do. He could be the top fragger, or he could be super bottom fragger, and then FlyQuest goes 0-3 easily. I mean, super inconsistent team. But this is what the price you get for them. Just go Dexter here. I wouldn't go for two of them, honestly. Not at this time. Complexity, completely don't go with complexity. No, it's a no go. Saw as well. It's a no go. Didn't like what I saw from both of them, so just don't go here. Imperial Valkyries is interesting because they're so cheap. But remember, they're gonna have to play at least 3 games. They're probably gonna lose all 3 games that they play, and they're probably not gonna take a map. I hope that they take a couple maps along the way, or even win a match. But they face Eternal Fire first round. If you want to go Imperial Valkyries, you definitely only go one, and then you get a bunch of goals, carries around them. Then you chicken them out for that first game, and then hope that the last 2 games they don't go super negative. So Imperial Valkyries, it's an option. It's not really an optimal option because you can definitely get other players that are cheap as well that could get you positive points. So it's a strategy, not a great one, but it's a strategy. So now that we've gone through all the players, like I said, I'm gonna back 2 Eternal Fire for sure. So I'm gonna go Major and Wicadia. If I had the money, I would definitely go up to Voxic, but with the lineup that you'll see right now, Wicadia is the perfect option for it. Then I need a cheap player, and I've been hyping him up, but I'm gonna go with Body. The best cheap player in this whole event. 3D Max could get through, and they're one of my underdogs to go through, so definitely go with Body. And so that leaves us with 418. Face is too expensive, so I'm not gonna go here, but I'm gonna go back Mongolz, and I'm gonna go with 910 and Blitz. Super consistent. Mongolz should do good. They should be more than fine. They face Complexity, who are not good. Great team. These are the roles. And these are the boosters that will apply for the first game. Let me know what you think of my team. Leave any comments about your own team, who you think is going to go through, any upsets that you might think will happen. But other than that, good luck and have fun.